We all know that Maine is a state known for its natural beauty and for its rural small towns. In fact, even places in central Maine like Waterville only boast a population of about 16,000 people. That makes it comparable to a lot of small towns elsewhere. Given our rural location and current market conditions, the USDA loan might be just the right fit for you. Hello Central Maine, it is your realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty, and as I just hinted at the beginning, today I'm going to go into a little bit of explanation on the USDA Rural Development Loan Program, particularly as we head into these late winter months, early 2023. The market conditions are right for buyers to come in and use some of these more competitive loan programs that frankly for the last couple of years have been really difficult to get your hands around. Now before I get into that, I do want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here before, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly right here in the central Maine market. If that's of interest to you or adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, or maybe you just like real estate, do me a favor, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell, you'll be notified every time we put out new content. All right, so let's get right into it. The USDA Rural Development Loan Program is a program whose biggest benefit is that it offers 100% financing of the loans for your home mortgage. And that is a huge benefit, obviously, for a lot of people who are thinking about a down payment. You know, one of the things we talk about a lot and use a lot is the FHA loan program, which in itself offers an extremely low down payment, 3.5%. The USDA Rural Development Loan Program, 0 down payment, so you can get up to 100% financing of the loan. Of course, coming up with that down payment is one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of people are going to face if they are a first-time home buyer. Now, I say that you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for this program. Now, you do have to meet the program's income limits, which are essentially varied county by county, state by state, and you can't make more than 115% of the median income in the given area. And the USDA Rural Development Loan Program does have area maps that would cover that, but you want to speak specifically to whatever private lender that you're working with to get the specifics for your town. The USDA program does offer fairly competitive debt to income ratios up to 43%, but again, you want to speak to your private lender because this is not something like FHA that is issued directly from the US government. These are federally backed loans issued by private lenders. So your lender may have a little bit more stringent debt to income ratios as well as the credits. Now, unlike FDA, this does not have really a low credit bar where you can go down to a credit score of 500. Because it could vary from lender to lender, I don't want to get into too big of specifics, but you do want to probably assume that you need a credit score of at least 640 or above, which would be kind of standard loan requirement. Now, more often than not, the USDA Rural Development Loan Program is going to be used for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage program. So that would be your standard 30-year loan, 4-year mortgage that comes at, again, 100% financing, and it's going to be at fairly competitive rates because it is backed by the federal government. However, one thing that is unique about the USDA Rural Development Loan Program is that they also have a home improvement loan program, which if you qualify for, you can actually get funds to not only buy your home, but you can get funds to improve the home that you might already be in. So that's something you definitely want to speak to your lender about if it's not the case where you're moving, but you're actually looking to make some home improvements in one of these designated rural areas. Now, as you just heard me mention, the property does have to be in one of the designated rural development areas. And here's what I want to say about that. Well, I can't guarantee that whatever town you live in here in the state of Maine is going to qualify. I've done USDA Rural Development Loans in the city of Waterville. I've done USDA Rural Development Loans in the town of Fairfield. Here in the central Maine area, we are rural enough that by and large, the entire central Maine area is probably going to fit the unique bill. So while I do, preface that with saying, go ahead and check with your local lender. I've done them before. I can't imagine why we wouldn't be doing them again. It is rural by its very nature here in central Maine. So what are the costs of the USDA Rural Development Loan? I mean, like I just said, it's 100% finance, so you don't need a down payment. You do, however, have to bring closing costs to the table. And my experience tells me that closing costs are going to be somewhere roughly about $5,000 to $6,000. Again, as I've said with everything else, you want to check with the lender that you're at. Now, one of the things that I've seen buyers do, and I've actually worked deals on both sides where this has happened, where if that becomes an issue, right now we are working in a market where sellers are somewhat willing to negotiate some of those closing costs. If that becomes an issue, I have seen buyers, as long as the home appraises, and we'll get to that in a little bit, offer a little bit more than what the asking price is and then negotiate those back in the closing so that the seller gets what they want, the buyer gets what they want. It becomes a great win-win scenario. That's a situation that could definitely play out. Now, when it comes to the appraisal, it does have to pass the USDA Rural Development Loan appraisal service. And here in the state of Maine, we don't have a ton of USDA qualified appraisers. That might mean that the appraisal takes a little bit of extra time. I've seen some USDA appraisers come in really quick. I've had to sit a little bit longer. None of them have not actually closed on time with that standard 45 days. So nothing major, but just something to think about if you are in a rush to push that through. And so what is the USDA appraisal? Well, essentially, it's kind of like the FHA appraisal, although it does have its own unique set of circumstances. But basically, they just want to make sure you're living in a livable house. This is not an inspection by any means, but they are going to check for things like insect damage. They do want to know that your water and your sewer systems are working, and some of those major components are there so that when they're going to back that loan, they want to know that that loan is being backed by something that's probably, or at least likely, to maintain the equity as the collateral for that loan should something go awry. Not that I would expect that to happen for you. So there it is in a nutshell, the USDA Rural Development Loan Program. Really just giving you the down and dirty on this video today, but what I want to stress really is that this might be a little bit more complicated loan than your standard conventional mortgage. But if you're in the market and you're struggling with things like a down payment, but looking at the skyrocketing rents and things like that, it just makes more sense for you to purchase a home, then this is a great program. And it's a program that I've worked with many clients on. I'd be happy to navigate the process with you. You can certainly reach out to the USDA directly through their website if you want to learn more about it, or just contact me directly. All of my contact information is linked in the post below. I'll be happy to talk to you about this, talk to you about some of the homes that might qualify, and also connect you with a local lender that is qualified and certified to get you into the USDA Rural Development Loan Program to find out if that's a program that might work for you. Now, as always, would love to hear your comments on this. If this is something that you've maybe utilized, maybe you've thought about utilizing it, or you've heard about it, just had some questions, go ahead, drop a comment below. Always love to engage with you there. And of course, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking around to the end of this video. And until the next one, see you next time.